he comes out to meet Liston, and Liston starts to retreat. If Liston goes back an inch farther, he'll end up in the ringside seat. Clay swings with his left. Clay swings with his right. Look at young Cassius carry the fight. Liston keeps backing, but there's not enough room. It's a matter of time. Clay loads the boom. Now Liston disappears from view. The crowd is getting frantic, but our radar stations have picked him up. He is somewhere over the Atlantic. Liston is still rising, and the ref wears a frown, but he can't start counting till Sonny comes down. Who would have thought when they came to the fight that they'd witness the launching of a human satellite? Yes, the crowd did not dream when they put down their money that they would see a total eclipse of the sun.
This is 74 Chuck Distance, Boxing Aficionados, coming at you with another video. And before we begin, please subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed already, hit the like button and leave a comment below. All right, so according to Mike Coppinger, who's a contributor to ESPN, Canelo Alvarez gets the WBC's approval to fight. I think this Ilunga Junior Makabu title. So it says Canelo Alvarez could chase a title in a 5th weight class at the WBC convention on Wednesday in Mexico City. The organization approved the request of Canelo's trainer and manager Eddie Reynoso to have Alvarez's challenge Ilungu Junior Makabu for the Cruiserweight Championship. Alvarez, ESPN's #1 pound-for-pound boxer, became undisputed champion at 168 pounds earlier this month with an 11-round TKO of Caleb Plant. So basically, this win, it could make Canelo Alvarez world champion in 5 different divisions. So what's your thoughts on this?
Massive. It's massive for Canelo. It's massive for all Mexican heritage fighters. He's the first. He's like the pinnacle, man. Like, there is, when you think about Mexican boxing, there is nobody bigger than Canelo. You can put Oscar De La Hoya, you can put Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., you can put all those guys up there, but they all still got to fall to Canelo. 5 weight classes if he does it. 5 weight classes.
Yep.
Major world titles. Unified. He was the unified 154. Undisputed 168. Unified 160. He had 1 belt up at 75. I mean, you gotta give him the praises, man. Regardless of, like I said, whoever your favorite, it can date back to God knows when boxing started. It doesn't matter. He's, as far as the Mexican heritage goes, it all goes through Canelo, because that is massive.
Yeah, I agree, man. Canelo, he just continues to impress, man.
He breaking barriers for Mexican fighters.
Yeah, I mean, and then
he the first.
Think about it like this, and Canelo has helped out his marketing even more because Canelo has learned how to speak English. So he has pretty much helped out his marketing even more, because he's taken that step, to learn how to speak English, and I think that's big.
Yeah, man. Like you look at even like some of the prime days of like Juan Manuel Marquez. I was one of my favorite Mexican fighters was Marquez. And after all this time he been boxing in the States, he didn't learn a lick of English. I mean, he might know, like how to put a couple of sentences together, but to do a press conference in English, I don't think Marquez can do it, man. But still one of my favorite fighters.
And you look at guys like Tito Trinidad, You look at a lot of these kind of big time fighters. I would even say Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.
Yeah,
it's a lot of it was a lot of like legendary Mexican boxers who probably would have been even bigger had they learned English. And this just goes to show, like, honestly, the Mayweather bug, not just in terms of making fights happen, marketable fights, fights, meaningful fights.
Right.
I mean, and you really, this dude Makabu, you really can't get mad at him for wanting to fight Canelo.
Yeah, he's gonna take that money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, this is professional prize fighting, and you fight to either you either fight for the prize or you fight to become the prize.
Exactly.
A lot of times boxing fans, we are too big of purists when it comes to the sport of boxing. Oftentimes with boxing fans, we look at a world title and we think world championship, world championship contender, number one contender, this is who the fighter should fight. And in reality, the multiple world titles, it's a good and a bad thing for boxing, because the ideal thing in boxing is that people should be fighting for, that there should be one world champion, and all the other challengers should be trying to face that particular person. The problem is that, and I guess, and I'm gonna play the devil's advocate with all these world titles that's out there right now. Playing the devil's advocate, in all honesty, are there enough, if there was one belt, would there be enough contenders? Would that fighter be able to face all the contenders? Like, if there was one belt, like would every contender get a title shot? And the answer is, like, most likely no, because it's like all titles, and you still have it where these fighters may not ever be able to fight for a world title.
Right, true.
Which is why back in the day, you can understand people fighting for the USBA world title. You can understand why the WBO had that belt over in Europe. You can understand why the IBF had a belt, the WBA, WBC. I mean, because you think, man, and I would like to imagine that there's probably hundreds of contenders, in the heavyweight division, especially in the major divisions. You think about the heavyweight division, light heavyweight division, middleweight division, welterweight division, lightweight division, featherweight division, bantamweight division, flyweight division. You think of all of those, the 8 major weight classes in which boxing was founded on. You think of all of those weight classes out there, and all of these, all of these professional boxers that are out there. In all honesty, with those, will all those guys realistically be able to fight for a world title? And the answer is no.
No.
So you also have to ask the question: with that person as champion, no matter how long he's going to be champion, out of those hundreds of contenders, how many of those guys, as champion, is he going to actually defend the belt against realistically? Exactly. He's going to actually be able to physically. So I can kind of understand that. But again, professional prize fighting, and so and you fighting all these contenders, and these contenders are from these contenders are from Mexico, You know, they're from Guatemala.
Oh.
You know, they're from Thailand. They're from
Yep.
all of these different parts of the world. And a lot of these dudes really don't have a fan base. So if I fight you and you the number one contender, like, what's the gate gonna be? How many people are gonna watch the fight? You know, how many, like, if the fight's on television, how many people are gonna tune in? So again, in boxing, you are fighting for the prize, and then you're fighting to be the prize. So from what I understand, there's another dude that's Cruiserweight champion, and he claimed that he wanted to unify the Cruiserweight title, but he says now because Canelo is fighting that guy, he says that he's unable to unify the belt. But again, the question is that like, would he have been able to unify the belt anyway? You know, because we've seen time and time again how these organizations get in the way of these fighters doing unifications. So percentage-wise, what was the chances of that guy being able to get a unification bout?
Man, like I said, the only way we see another Cruiserweight unification is the WBS, another one. It's got to happen. That's the way that they got unified before.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know, again, it's professional prize fighting. You fight the prize, or you fight to be the prize. And the belts are just a means to an end. That's really all the belts are. The belts are means to an end, because what people are looking for is that, like, people like Arturo Gatti and Mike Tyson, when Arturo Gatti and Mike Tyson were fighting, they actually be fighting for a world title. Today, boxers need belts in order for them, you know, in order to make the fight seem credible. And that has a lot to do, you know, you can kind of credit the success on the actual organizations. You can credit the success to the boxing media. You can credit the success to the boxing fans. You can credit that success to the actual boxers. You know, but you know, it's like at the end of the day, man, you know, boxers feel as if they need to fight for a world title.
Yeah.
And right now, unfortunately, that's just how the system of boxing is at the moment. So it's like really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, whether it's a, you know, NFL, NBA, soccer, baseball, all, you know, yes, it's a sport, but it's still a business. The business aspect comes first. You know, if these investors, if these owners, you know, if the team heads or, you know, the councils aren't making money, it's not making sense. So it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's why we got sanctioning fees in boxing, and we got, you know, oh, you gotta pay this guy some step aside money, or we strip you of the belt. You know, there's so much money being thrown around every day in boxing that, you know, if you don't follow the money, you're not even gonna know. You're just gonna think, oh, why these guys not fighting?
Now, what I personally think is that if Canelo isn't competing in those other weight classes, Canelo does need to vacate those belts.
Oh yeah, you talking about yeah. He still got belt at 75, right? No belt.
Let me take a look.
60, all his belts gone. It's 60, I think. He just has that the lineal championship and that diamond championship. But does he still have the WBA belt? I know they got a WBA champion, a regular champion. I don't know if he's a super champion at 160.
So I'm looking at boxing scene right now, and so when you look at so Joe Smith is WBO champion at 175. So the belt, Canelo,
the one that knocked out Bernard.
Yeah, Joe Smith Jr. Yep.
Whoa, he came back with a vengeance, huh?
Yep. So
didn't he lose like twice? He lost twice, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So
Wow.
at the moment, so you have Ryota Murata, I guess, who was supposed to have been fighting Triple G, but I don't know what happened with that one.
Triple G trying to unify. I just saw that he trying to unify at 60.
But is he really? Because think about it like this. He's like, they say he's trying to fight Ryota Murata, but Jamal Charlo's been calling him out. You know, Jamal Charlo that fight makes the most sense.
Yeah, the most sense and the most money.
Demetrius Andre is also champion, WBO champion. So Demetrius Andre has shown interest in fighting Gennady Golovkin too.
Right, true. Same promoter, by the way.
I'm skeptical, man. I'm skeptical in terms of Triple G's desire and his efforts to unify at 160. But one thing you can say,
Boo Boo can be touched though, man, because Vanis Martirosyan dropped him, man. Remember?
Yeah.
So Boo Boo got skill though. I ain't gonna take that away from him.
No. What I'm saying, he
can be touched.
What I'm saying though is that you guys have the same promoter.
Oh yeah.
And
that's an easy fight to make.
Let me give Triple G the benefit of the doubt. maybe he took the fight against Murata because because they have different promoters and it's the more difficult fight to make. So he made the more difficult fight, and then he's gonna circle back to the easier fight to make. So maybe and hopefully he does go through Murata and he does attempt to fight Charlo, and then he circles back to Andre because Andre is the easier fight. Maybe he does do that, but what doesn't make sense is to continue to be thirsty for Canelo when Canelo is just way past you now. Like Canelo,
not even in the same weight class.
Yeah, Canelo is looking at you through his rearview mirror. So it's like there's absolutely no reason at the moment to be fighting Canelo.
You know why he wants Canelo? Because he took his O.
Well, and he also wants Canelo because it's a big money fight. So
very
that,
true.
Yeah, it's a big money fight.
That's the most money he gonna make at any of the weight classes he in right now.
So here's the thing. Here's another thing I'm tripping on. So when Teofimo Lopez, when he beat Lomachenko, they just so they just stripped Lomachenko of the franchise belt because the franchise belt. See, WBC, man, they so full of crap. So the way the franchise championship is supposed to go, a person does not lose the franchise championship. The franchise championship, the person that beats them, they become the diamond champion. They become the diamond champion, and they are supposed to fight the WBC champion in a unification.
Yeah,
they become an automatic mandatory, they become an automatic #1 contender, an automatic challenger for the WBC belt. So the WBC is breaking their own rules. Their rules are so arbitrary, man. Their rules are just all over the place. So I just so happen to stumble across that. But they basically have Teofimo Lopez as the undisputed champion. So really what it's coming down to is that even though they have Devin Haney as the champion, Teofimo don't have to fight him. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely crazy. You know,
so Devin Haney becomes the interim champion, and so he became the mandatory for the WBC belt. But
same thing happened with Charlo.
Yeah, but and so if I'm not mistaken, Lomo was the WBC champion. But then the WBC made Lomachenko franchise champion.
Yep.
So they made him franchise champion so that he didn't have to fight Devin Haney.
Yep.
He fights Teofimo thinking that he's going to get past Teofimo. Teofimo beats him. Lomachenko don't want smoke no more. And then, you know, the WBC just, again, just kind of arbitrarily makes Teofimo franchise champion. And, you know, and they made him franchise champion. But they, so, you know, at the same time, you know, giving Devin Haney kind of like a consolation prize. And it's crazy how they do this to black fighters. They know that what the black fight, they know that what people like Charlo and Devin Haney actually want. Mm-hmm. They actually want the Lomachenko fight. They actually want the money fight.
Right.
It's the person that's making the money in the division. They know this, and
right.
So they run a game, man. So they elevated him. They elevated him as a champion after they basically gave Lomachenko a pass to not have to fight him.
Yep, yes, sir. That's the
crazy.
truth.
And so pretty much, it's safe to say that they did the exact same thing with Teofimo Lopez. Because Teofimo, these boxers, man, they can talk all day about and it was funny how he was talking to Devin Haney, and he was like, we'll sign a contract. And Devin Haney was like, what contract? That was hilarious, man. And then Teofimo, he realized he slipped up, and so he was just, you know, he was trying to explain himself. That whole, like, you can't believe anything that these boxers or these promoters say nowadays, because it's like, now
that's the Bob Arum approach, bro.
Yeah, it top rank. Absolutely is. It's like, we'll sign a contract. We sent you a contract, and come to find out there was never a contract sent.
That's top rank for you, man.
Another thing that I looked at and I found very interesting is that at 140 pounds, so at the super lightweight division, if he wanted to, Gervonta Tank Davis can actually fight Josh Taylor. And they can, and Gervonta Tank Davis can potentially become undisputed champion at 140.
Yeah.
Potentially.
That one fight, huh?
That one fight.
John said he so, you know, when he did his fight, when he unified the belts and he did his post, it kind of seemed like he was waiting, you know, like basically, like, not saying he was chasing Crawford, but he was just whispering in the wind, like, you know, like, there's nothing left for me at 140 because I got all these belts here, you know, and I cleaned the division out, so it's time for bigger and better things. And, you know, I'm thinking that he moves up too as well. He moves up to 47 because a lot of people, and this this happens a lot with people that unify divisions. It seems like once they unify, it's like, I'm not comfortable at that weight anymore. I'm moving up.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, in your personal opinion, so Josh Taylor has victories over Ahara Davies, Miguel Vasquez, Victor Postol, Ryan Martin, Regis Prograis, you know, like a majority decision. Jose Ramirez. In your personal opinion, do you think Josh Taylor is good enough to go up and compete against those guys?
Honestly speaking, no. 47 is deep waters, man. Like, them guys that, like, besides, if you look at like Terrence Crawford's route to 47, yeah, he beat Kell Brook, but Kell Brook was past it. You know what I mean? This is like post Triple G, post Spence. You know, I think it was both eye sockets. It was one, and then it was the other. Triple G took one out, and Spence took the other one out. But I mean, Kell Brook was shot one. It just seemed like everybody that Terrence Crawford was fighting at 47 was shot one, and that's not his fault. That's you know, that's got to do with the promotional company. And
yeah,
Josh Taylor, to step up in competition right now. Like I said, if it's any time, it's now. But I don't see him going very far.
It's a major step up in competition.
Yeah, it's like night and day.
It's a major step up in competition.
Yeah,
I think that wouldn't you say that the Regis fight is the biggest fight?
Yeah, and Regis was, he's young. He's a young guy. I mean, he's learning every day, and he looks better now than he did when he fought him. Majority decision don't, like, even if they was the re-up, it might be a different fight. You never know.
Not only a majority decision, but a majority decision in the UK. So we know how that goes. But
yeah.
Again, but based on me looking at the fight, giving credit to Josh Taylor where credit is due, I'll say that Josh Taylor did win that fight against Regis.
Right.
So I will say that. But with Josh Taylor, even though you would say that he's, big for a 140 pounder, like I think Josh Taylor is close to 6 feet. Josh Taylor.
Yeah, he's tall fighter.
5'10".
Yeah.
5'10", almost 5'11". Now the only thing with Josh Taylor is that Josh Taylor, he doesn't, I think he got like a 69-inch reach, but 5'10", man. I mean, that's really big for a 140 pounder. And you could argue that 5'10" will also be big for a welterweight, because Sugar Ray Leonard as a welterweight was 5'10", and that's big, man.
Yeah.
Now Sugar Ray Leonard, though, also 5'10", also has 75-inch reach, so he was just altogether ridiculous. But Josh Taylor is no Sugar Ray Leonard.
No. Not taking nothing away from him, though.
Absolutely not taking anything away from him. Josh Taylor is a very talented fighter. However, Josh Taylor is talented, compared to, like, I don't even want to say inexperienced Regis, because that's not giving Josh Taylor credit. He definitely outclassed Regis.
Right.
He definitely outclassed him.
Right.
But we all know that following the Terrence Crawford fight, Victor Postal was finished. He didn't look the same at all. Just like any of the guys that's like post Crawford, or they don't look the same, and also like not really to take a lot of credit away from Terrence Crawford, but wouldn't it be safe to say that the Victor Postol versus Lucas Matisse fight, that was kind of a tough fight.
Yeah. Both fighters.
Victor Postol took after losing to Terrence Crawford. So think about it like this: he took almost a year off after fighting Lucas Matisse. He fought Terrence Crawford.
Hurt, wasn't he? When they both like peeing blood or something?
Yeah. And
they both were hurt.
And so then he took a tune-up fight. All after the loss to Terrence Crawford, he took he took a year off, fought he fought Terrence Crawford in July of 2016, and it was this Uzbekistani fighter, I think it's Najimedov, and he fought him in September of 2017, and then he fought Josh Taylor almost a year later. So he fought Josh Taylor in in June of 2018. So, you know, and again, you know, he ended up losing, you know, about 2 years later. Because he was taking long times off. So, my question would be if Victor Postol is still dealing with some injuries, because it's certain fighters, man, certain fights, they take years off your life. So it's like, I'm wondering, even with Victor Postol, you know, if that Lucas Matisse fight, and then following up Lucas Matisse with Terrence Crawford, if that just messed him up, you know. Remember back in the day when fighters, they have a real difficult fight, and then, you know, they'll just have a tune-up. You know, they'll have a tune-up. Fighters used to do that. They'll have a real big fight, and then, you know, and then after they have that real big fight, you know, they'll have a tune-up.
Yo, I'll give you a prime example of that. And that happened to my man, Jermaine Taylor, at the Fort Bernard twice. He looked at Kelly Pavlik as a tune-up. Where'd Kelly Pavlik come from? You know, kid. I think he came out of Youngstown, Ohio.
Dude, you know, so when Sugar Ray Leonard beat Roberto Duran the second time, when he beat Roberto Duran the second time, so he fought Roberto Duran twice. When he beat Roberto Duran the second time, he took, I want to say he took like 2 tune-up fights before fighting Tommy Hearns, and then after he fought Tommy Hearns, you know, he had 2 tune-up fights. Yeah, you know, he had 2 tune-up fights, and you know, and actually, here's the thing. After the tune-up fight, after the initial tune-up fight that he had, I ain't even call it a tune-up fight. After the fight he had with Tommy Hitman Hearns, he actually retired. Yeah. Cause I want to say at that time, I want to say it was back in like 1982. I think that's when people were talking about him fighting Aaron Pryor. No. They were talking about him fighting Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and Sugar Ray Leonard retired. No. I think that was. What was his name? I think that was Aaron Pryor. I think
Aaron Pryor was the top. Yeah.
But so it was Aaron Pryor, but then he came back. He fought this dude named Kevin Howard, and then he did the same thing to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And what made it so it was about, because remember, it was about 1984, 1985 when Marvelous Marvin Hagler fought. It was 1985 when Marvin Hagler fought Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Right. And everybody thought that Sugar Ray was going to fight
the winner.
Yeah. But then that's when he played his boy. What was his boy's name that was in the Olympics? No, he wasn't in the Olympics because they didn't go to that particular Olympics. But I think, because I don't think the United States, I don't think they participated in the 1984 Olympics. What was the dudes? No, they did participate in the 1984 Olympics. Yeah, it was the 1980 Olympics. It was the 1980 Olympics. I don't think they participated in.
I'm trying to think of dude's name. I don't want to stop the stream because it's going to. You said what? I said I don't want to stop the stream because I know it's going to take some time to get that.
No. It's not. No, I got it. It was Donald DC Carey. Yeah. Because what happened is that Donald Carey was undefeated. He was on a tear. He was like one of the best pound for pound fighters. And as a matter of fact, I want to say Donald Carey was undisputed at the time. And what happened, they were talking about Donald DC Carey fighting Marvelous Marvin Hagler, because remember, they didn't have. I don't think. I want to say at the time they didn't have a 154-pound division. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think. Nope, not.
So Donald, or if they did, it wasn't that big. But anyway, they would talk about Donald DC Carey fighting against Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And so Donald Curry went to Sugar Ray Leonard and was like, what do you think I should do? And Sugar Ray Leonard was like, yeah, I don't think you should take the fight. But then Sugar Ray turned around and took the Hagler.
Yep.
He
played him.
He played him.
He saw the potential on the money. He was like, look, I got to jump at this.
Yeah, so yeah, what ended up happening was that Donald Curry ended up actually losing to Lloyd Hunnigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he actually ended up losing to Lloyd Hunnigan. So yeah, yep. But
played him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he played him. But again, just getting back to my point is that oftentimes what fighters used to do is that they would take layoffs. But I think because of the social media age and because of how demanding fight fans are today, fighters don't really have that luxury. Remember when Danny Garcia, after he came off a real difficult fight, he fought that dude, like, what was his, Rod Salka?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so but I also think that Bob Arum just genuinely didn't care. He genuinely didn't really care about Victor Pistol, and he set him up against Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, beat him to the walls, man.
Terrence Crawford destroyed that dude, man.
That's what they were trying to do to Manny Pacquiao. They wanted to feed him. It's like, look, Manny, you ride your last leg. I got this young stallion coming up. I want you to drop the belt to him, basically.
Yep.
Not without saying that, but that's what they was basically holding Pacquiao for, because when Pacquiao was with Top Rank, some of his last fights were what? Brandon Rios, Bradley again,
Chris Algieri.
Algieri. I mean, like, fights that Pacquiao probably had no business even being in.
Yep.
You look at somebody with the legacy of Manny Pacquiao, and then you say, oh, well, his biggest fight that can come up is Brandon Rios. And not saying Brandon Rios didn't give us primetime fights, because Rios versus Alvarado, we all know, was blockbusters. Except for the last one, because I think they both were. No, even the last one when they fought was still good. So,
but that's what happens, man, when your promoter don't care about you. Like your promoter, like it to them, it's just all. It's like, to the fans, you're a legend, but to the promoter, we need to cash this guy out.
Yeah. That's what they basically was doing. It was just like, look, I'm gonna feed you to the dogs. And like I said, all of Crawford's opponents of late have been that way. It's just, they've been shot more, man. Yeah. I taking nothing away from his skill. I'm just saying, like, I feel like, he being cheated because he wasting his prime years fighting people that he could have beat easily when he was coming up.
Or were just definitely much better matches than the people who he had fought over the past few years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because honestly, and I'm not saying this trying to speak as a Terrence Crawford detractor, even though over the years I have tended to be, but in all honesty, the way I feel about Terrence Crawford is that Terrence Crawford, up to this point, is an unproven fighter.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think that Terrence Crawford had deserved to be number one pound for pound at any time, because the pound for pound list is not only based on world championships that you've gotten, but it's also based on your resume. You know, who have you beaten?
Yeah, quality of opponents.
Yeah, quality of opposition. And so over the years, that's how the fans have put together their pound for pound list based on.
Yeah.
It's been put together based on who have you fought. You know, not like whether or not you're undefeated, not whether or not, you know, you've held, you know, this belt, that belt. It's based on who did you fight.
Exactly. And that's why.
So, because you think about it, I mean, if that's the case, why wasn't Deontay Wilder number one pound for pound? You know, why wasn't, you know, I mean, it's so many different people you could say, you know, why weren't they pound for pound? You know, because, you know, again, I mean, it's like, what person did Terrence Crawford fight to have deserved to be number one pound for pound? You know, and I mean, I certainly can't see anybody.
Like I said, I was getting ready to say Juan Urango. You remember Juan Urango? A fighter, he fought at 140 a while ago. But his biggest fight was Gamboa. I'm thinking, if you take belts aside, all the other crap, and yeah, Gamboa was on the shelf, but he still had the pizzazz. We knew Gamboa was for real, but you know that whole thing with the 50 Cent doing the boxing promotion and stuff like that, and it you know, all them guys are screaming like, we want to get out of our contract. You know, you remember that a couple years ago?
What was that now? I'm sorry.
You remember that, the SMS boxing?
Yeah.
And 50 Cent, that promotion, and all the fighters was trying to get out their contract because they was like, yo, we been up on the show. We ain't doing nothing.
Now Chuck, his name was, the dude's name was Cesar Cuenca. So Cesar Cuenca was an Argentinian fighter. And I can't remember who Cesar Cuenca was being promoted by. But what happened was that Cesar Cuenca, you know, again, he was an Argentinian fighter, and right when Floyd Mayweather went 49-0, Cesar Cuenca was 48-0.
Mm-hmm. But who you fighting though? That's what it's all about.
No. Listen, this is hilarious. Just listen to this. So Cesar Cuenca was again, he was 48-0. This dude was 48-0, 2 by knockout. Right? And so what happened when his 48th fight, it was for the vacant IBF lightweight championship. And I want to say that it was vacated by Lamont Peterson, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it was. But it was the vacant IBF belt. And so Cesar Cuenca fought this Chinese fighter. He beat the Chinese fighter by unanimous decision. And then there was this Russian fighter named Edward Troyanovsky. And Troyanovsky ended up knocking out Cesar Cuenca. And now the significance with this in terms of Terrence Crawford was that Troyanovsky beat Cesar Cuenca, and then Troyanovsky got knocked out by Julius Ndongo. And so, of course, we know Julius Ndongo ended up like unifying the belt, unifying the 140 pound title.
Yep, half of it.
Yeah, because he fought Ricky Burns for the for the it was for the
in Scotland. Yep, fought him over there and took that belt.
Yep.
And I was like, wow. I was impressed that he was able to pull one out, but I mean, Crawford had been trying to fight Ricky Burns anyway for a while, and Ricky Burns just kept moving up in weight. You know, at 35, it was like, you know, potential matchups for Terrence Crawford, Ricky Burns, and then Ricky Burns was gone. He's like, nope, going to 140.
Lost you.
Lost me. Am I back?
Yeah, you back.
You know what? On the stream, like sometimes it's been freezing frames anyway.
Yeah.
So when you go back, you'll see it. But
so,
we 50 minutes in.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get ready to go because I gotta eat. Because I gotta eat, then I gotta call a client. So I had a client to call me. So yeah. Anyway, so Canelo is wow, that was loud. Canelo is fighting cruiserweight champion Ilungu Makabu for the cruiserweight belt, and again, you know, fans are like, oftentimes as fans we're wishy-washy. And
you know, I can't refute it. You know, this, like I said, this is history right here.
Yeah, me either.
I don't care if it was, you know, Canelo or for Al sakes Floyd Mayweather, because he did a lot, you know, in his time. But for Canelo to go up there and get that belt, if he gets that belt,
it's like is Canelo belt hopping? Yeah, he's belt hopping, but
he's still making history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you really can't. But can you say belt hopping? Because look, he was up at 75. That was a belt hop, right?
Yeah.
But look at the other three divisions. Unified champion 54. Basically the undisputed champion at 160.
Divisions that are considered boxers divisions, like those.
68, definitely.
Yeah, if you are a boxing purist, if you are a true boxing aficionado, you know that 154 and 168, those are the divisions where like it's deep and it's competitive.
It's always been competition in.
Yep.
Always.
It's deep.
I can't think of a time where it was never competition in.
Yep.
Yeah. But like you can say belt hop 75. That's it. But look what he did up there. Kovalev was the guy. It wasn't like it was a. So we can't really call it a belt hop.
Yeah, I mean, you know, can you argue? One can argue that he avoided Andre and Charlo, you know, and this is just me playing devil's advocate, you know, for both sides. I mean, one can argue that, he did that. But then you think about like what he was able to accomplish in those divisions. And you also have to keep in mind that, you know, while Jermall Charlo is doing all this talking, Jermall Charlo has openly said that he's not interested in fighting Demetrius Andrade. So, you know, who's in the same division as him. So when you think about stuff like that, you know, yeah, you can argue that. You know, you can argue that Canelo did avoid some fighters, but you can also argue that they only wanted to fight Canelo because they was going to get a lot of money. You know, so you know, they're just fighting him because, you know, I'm gonna fight Canelo and I'm gonna get paid for it, and you know, but I'm gonna get paid for it. But am I fighting Canelo to win? You know, we know that in boxing, money is usually a horrible motivative factor, you know, for you to fight somebody.
Yes,
so you got you when you fighting somebody, you got to be hungry. You have to want that fight. Yeah, you have to genuinely think, I want this fight because I want to prove to everybody that I can beat this dude. And that's also usually when you get the more entertaining fights. Typically when you fight, when there's a person fighting someone to get paid, typically what they do, if they get, like in the case of Charles Martin versus Anthony Joshua.
Oh yeah.
The moment adversity came, Charles Martin just sat down.
Yeah, he's like, that's it. Honestly speaking, should he have had the IBF belt? It was it wasn't inside of 4. It was like the 4th or 5th round or something. The guy's leg went out. I'm like, should it go to? It should have went to the. I don't know, because he was unable to continue.
Yeah, I think the guy's name was Vakislav Glaskov, but his knee went out. But injuries like that, man. If it's not through a foul, if it's not through a foul, then it's open game. It's open
which sucks
game.
because I don't really think Charles Martin would have probably beat him.
Well, also you have to think about those guys. You can't postpone the fight for that. Because at that point, you run risk of getting sued, and so it's very risky. And,
that's where the business side come in.
and so if a doctor says, well, technically, he could have fought, then that just opens the door to a lawsuit.
So he come in there, with messed up knees and lose the belt in a terrible fashion. Like I said, it wasn't. I honestly believe that Charles Martin, if it went the distance or went into the championship round, Charles Martin wouldn't have won that belt. He definitely wouldn't have won then. For Anthony Joshua, what he did, like you said, when adversity came, Martin was like, nah, that's it. I take my money and I'm gone. What was it, like 8 million pounds, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Especially here in the States, because the conversion rate is so much more. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so yeah, man. That's what we have, man. So I think we're gonna end the stream.
It's been real.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments below. Holler at you guys later. All right, peace.
Peace out.